Africa's mineral wealth is no longer just a story of raw extraction. It is a reality powering modern technologies. As of 2026, it has become Africa's foundational layer of powering the global AI economy. The compute revolution relies on a physical supply chain that begins largely in African soil.
Continental Africa is where 30% of the world's critical mineral reserves are held.
Africa supplies minerals for the hardware required for AI, from the GPUs in massive data centers to the MON.
Edge computing devices in our pockets depend on specific elements concentrated in several African nations.
Lithium powers mobile devices and EVs that run AI models and is sourced from Zimbabwe, Namibia, and Nigeria.
70% of global reserves are located in South Africa.
Copper, mainly from DRC Congo and Zambia, is used for high-speed data transmission and power for GPU clusters.
Graphite is used for anode material for nearly all lithium-ion batteries and comes from Madagascar and Mozambique.
Rare earth minerals come from Malawi, Burundi, and South Africa. These African rare earths are used for semiconductors and high-performance magnets for hardware.
2026 is the year when Africa shifts from extraction to strategic power. Recent developments show that African nations are actively moving up the value chain.
To ensure Africa isn't just the mine for the world's intelligence, but also part of the global power.
Following a facility in South Africa, they are deploying thousands of GPUs across
Kenya, Nigeria, and Egypt to localize AI processing.
Export bans and value addition. Countries like Zimbabwe and Namibia have the
implemented bans on the export of raw lithium.
The goal is beneficiation, forcing companies to build refineries and processing plants locally.
mineral diplomacy.
At the 2026 Global AI Summit, policymakers reframed AI as industrial policy.
African leaders are increasingly negotiating minerals for technology deals,
where access to cobalt or copper is tied to investments in local data centers and internet infrastructure.
AI in mining. Paradoxically, AI is being used to find its own components.
Companies like Cobalt Metals are using AI-powered satellite imagery and drilling data
to discover blind deposits in Zambia and the DRC that traditional prospecting missed.
The strategic outlook. While Africa holds 30% of the reserves, it currently captures
only about 10% of the global revenue is generated from these minerals.
The focus for 2026 and beyond is closing this gap through the African Union's Green Mineral Strategy,
which aims to unify the continent's bargaining power against tech giants and foreign governments.
Without African minerals, the current pace of AI scaling would be physically impossible. The challenge remains whether the continent can leverage this upstream control.
To become a leader in the downstream intelligence layer.
As of February 2026, the strategy for companies like NVIDIA and Microsoft has evolved from merely buying minerals
to building the physical infrastructure on the continent to ensure long-term access.
The scramble for compute is now centered on a strategy called sovereign AI,
where tech giants trade high-end technology for guaranteed mineral stability.
NVIDIA's AI factory strategy. NVIDIA has moved beyond being a chip supplier to a direct infrastructure partner in Africa.
The Cassava Partnership. As of early 2026, NVIDIA is actively scaling its AI factory initiative with Cassava Technologies.
This involves deploying thousands of NVIDIA Grace Blackwell GPUs directly into data centers.
These African data centers are located in South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, and Egypt.
The goal: by providing AI as a service locally, NVIDIA secures its footprint in the region.
that supplies the cobalt and copper needed for those very chips.
It effectively turns African data centers into the processing hubs for the continent's own data.
Reducing reliance on overseas infrastructure.
Microsoft's $50 billion Global South commitment is a fascinating drive, illustrating that.
Companies like Cobalt Metals are using AI-powered geospatial analytics.
AI is literally being used to discover the materials it needs to survive.
In the next episode, we will cover how Africa's vast agricultural, mineral, and energy wealth is competing in global markets.
Please like and subscribe to our channel for more global economic trends content. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.